Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to spend some of your day with me. And guys, today I'm going to explain once again why forward-facing sonar has turned the sport of bass fishing, the once great sport of bass fishing, into a dang clown show. In light of what we have seen the last 2 weeks specifically, right now all the tournament circuits are on their northern swing, and we're seeing the disgusting display that forward-facing sonar has on smallmouth fisheries up north, where they're having these gigantic, massive bags of smallmouth caught that would never in a million years be caught without the use of that cheater box. So I got a couple different things I want to add into today's video. I know we talk about this a lot, but there's a couple things that came up here recently that I want to discuss. So we're going to get into that in today's video. And of course, I look forward to your guys' comments as well. Also, guys, before we get started, one quick thing I wanted to share with you guys. You guys know that the month of August and September are two of the toughest months of the year. It's hard to catch bass this time of year. Water's hot. One of my favorite things to do, guys, is to downsize my square bills. This is that Megabass 1.2 S crank. It's a little bitty, just a little over an inch long. Guys, this is freaking deadly this time of year when the water's super hot. I'll put this S-Crank link in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video if you guys would like to order one through that link. But guys, take this little S-Crank, put it on like 15-pound test, Seaguar and Vizex line, and fish whatever shallow cover you have available. If the water visibility is under 2 foot, crank it on riprap, rock, around lay-down trees, the edges of grasses. This little bitty downsized square bill will definitely get you bites this time of year when nothing else will. Okay, guys, if you guys have been following fishing, you've seen the absolute, well, nobody's doing nothing on these tournaments except staring down at their cheater box. That's what you see. You see 4 heads on a split screen, looking down, throwing out there, shaking like looking at their screen. There he is, there he is, there he is. Oh, he's getting close to my bait. There he is, there he is. Oh, he turned away. Oh, he's coming back. There he is. Oh, he's got it in his mouth. I better set the hook without looking at my line. Set the hook. We've seen it, it's the same thing, the most boring thing in the world, most degrading, insulting way to fish. Complete clown show is what this has turned into. Now, one of the things about it, you guys have heard me talking about a lot lately, that I say for using forward-facing sonar, that forward-facing sonar is cheating. When I say that, I do not mean that people using forward-facing sonar are cheaters. They are playing within the rules if they're using it in an organization that allows it. What I'm saying is the inherent characteristics and the inherent means of what forward-facing sonar is cheating, because it's not fair chase. And let me explain this a little bit. I had a friend of mine that I had a conversation with him about 3 months ago. This was a friend of mine that I went to college with, and he's now an attorney. Doesn't fish at all, didn't know anything about fishing. We had a lot of things in common, like bowling and golf early on, so we became good friends. I ran into him a couple months ago. Now, what I'm going to tell you here, I've heard other people tell me this in similar situations over and over again. So we were getting caught up. We hadn't seen each other in like 20 years. We were getting caught up on life, and we were having this conversation. One thing led to another thing, and the next thing I wanted to do is I asked him this question as somebody that this dude is super intelligent, critical thinker, is not reactionary, super level-headed, super thoughtful dude. He has no interest or no vested interest in fishing whatsoever, and I wanted I wanted an opinion from a neutral observer on this forward-facing sonar. So I went through and I explained everything. I explained the evolution of electronics from flashers to 2-dimensional sonar, down imaging, side imaging, and then I got to forward-facing sonar. I described to him what forward-facing sonar is, how it allows people to follow and track and catch fish in real time, live image technology, where you're scanning out in front of the boat and you have no clue what's out there, and then all of a sudden you find a fish, and then you can manipulate that fish into biting by seeing that fish react to your bait in real time. So I explained everything in detail from I wanted to lay it out in a very non-biased deal. I didn't want him to know that I thought it was the most destructive thing in the sport. I wanted his honest opinion from just like if you would have went into Chat GPT or something like that. Well, he thought about it. For, I don't know, 5 seconds. He goes, well, that sounds like cheating to me. That doesn't sound like, something that has anything to do with fishing. Guys, that opinion, I've heard so many different people that have asked people in the same positions, and that's what they all say, because that's what it is. Now, this is the equation I wanted to make it to. Let's say, I know a lot of you guys in the audience are hunters. A lot of people that bass fish also hunt. Let's say, for example, there was this piece of technology to come out that you could go out into the woods, right? And you walk out in the woods, you sit underneath a tree, whatever, and you've got this unit that could scan the woods out there. You don't know what's out there. You have no clue what's in the woods. And this unit will scan the woods and it'll pick up a deer. The deer could be, bedding down, it could be standing behind a tree, it could be feeding or whatever. And this unit can scan way out in front of you and you can find the deer in the woods. Then you walk up to the woods. Based upon the movements of that deer, you sit there and you take a bead on it, you shoot it with your bow and arrow, your crossbow, or your rifle, or whatever. There ain't no difference. There's no difference in that than what forward-facing sonar is. It is not fair chase. And that is what is inherently screwed up about forward-facing sonar, is it diminishes the recreational aspect and sporting aspect of what fishing is. Fishing is fishing to find fish. Fishing is not using a piece of technology that allows that technology to find the fish and help you catch that fish at the same time. You cross a precipice when you reach that level. And I've talked about this over and over again, because people say, Randy, you're hypocritical. Why don't you get into a dugout canoe and fish with a cane pole? I hear all the crap all the time about it. There has got to be some type of a foundational baseline in bass fishing, like any other sport has it. You can't use aluminum bats in Major League Baseball. They have ball limitations as far as how the balls are made in on the PGA Tour. You have equipment limitations in NASCAR. Every single sport has it, in order to protect that baseline integrity of the sport, except bass fishing. So that's why this is a damn clown show right now that we've seen. We've seen this sport over the past 2 years, guys. We have seen this sport turn into something that is completely unrecognizable compared to what it was before. And we have seen the normalization of this particular technology within the entities in the sport that have a vested interest, whether it be financially or whatever, to perpetuate this crap that we're putting up with. So the point is, what we're going to talk about on this channel all the time is you have got to resist this, and you got to make your voice stand out against it. We've seen people cancel their Bassmaster memberships right and left. We've seen people get on social media and rail against it. We've seen a bunch of vocal snowflake proponents of it that get on and trash me for trying to protect the sustainability and the future of the sport, because they have a vested interest in this technology, because they don't have the skills to catch bass through traditional ways. We've seen it all with that. But make no mistake about it, guys, forward-facing sonar has turned bass fishing on every level, on professional fishing, on recreational fishing, on sporting fishing, into a clown show. That's what it is. It's a joke, what it's become. And we have got to reverse this trend, guys. We have got to take a stand against this, and we have got to take the sport back to where it was and maintain that baseline, because it's like, where does it stop? It's like, if you're going to allow forward-facing sonar technology in fishing, and we've seen what that has done to the sport, what's around the corner of the next bend? I mean, what piece of technology is going to advance and make forward-facing sonar obsolete? You tell me right now, if you're one of the electronic companies, and say you find this piece of technology, and I'm just theorizing something like this, that goes way beyond forward-facing sonar. You got this piece of technology that has the ability to, I don't know, not only you find the fish, but you can identify the size of the fish, you can identify the species, if it's a spotted bass, smallmouth, or largemouth, and then you've got some type of frequency that some scientists had figured out that this unit will emit, that turns the fish into a super hyper aggressive mode that bites anything that around it. And the electronic companies are making freaking millions and millions of dollars with it. Do you think that as that profit margin from this advancing technology increases, and that profit margin is used to, further that, agenda within the tournament organizations, and they get more and more money thrown at them by the electronic companies, do you think they're going to stop that? No, they're not going to stop it, because money ruins everything. Money is the root of all evil, and we've seen it, how money is ruining bass fishing right now. Most of the people understand what I'm talking about in this country. They understand, and they're outraged and they're disgusted by it, of the clown show that has turned bass fishing into. But you have 25% or less of the vocal minority that have the ability and the power and the resources to perpetuate this and allow it to keep going on, and that's what we're fighting against. It's the same in politics. The vocal, powerful, segment of politics runs this country, and it's not the majority for the most part. Same in business, anything with that. Anyway, guys, I just want to keep hammering on this. Like I said, this has really irritated me, what I've seen the last couple weeks on the smallmouth. I knew it was on the smallmouth swing. I knew it was coming. I mean, that's all smallmouth fishing has become anymore. It's freaking forward-facing sonar minnow or weenie worming around out in the open water for those big smallmouth up north. That's what we've degraded the sport into. So anyway, guys, fight the good fight, man. Don't let up on it. That's what everybody that wants this stuff perpetuated wants us to do. They want us to quit beating the dead horse, give up on it, get on the bandwagon, Grandpa. You're going to get left behind. That's their talking points. That's their fake talking points, and never give up the good fight, because maintaining the tradition and the heritage and the mystery and the magic of bass fishing is the right thing to do. It's not the road that we're leading down on right now. Just like my buddy that's the attorney said, it's freaking cheating. Not the anglers. Anglers are not cheating. The tournament organizations have put the anglers in the positions where they have to do that. So anyway, guys, join the good fight, man. Keep pressing it, and hope you guys are doing well. We'll talk later.